Hey you guys, it's Rowie. It's been a really long time, but I'm getting back into YouTube and I'm ready to serve you some seriously colorful looks. Today I'm going to be showing you how I created this look, a super dramatic and powerful yet very blended through rainbow look with a little bit of sparkle. So if you want to see how I created this, then just keep watching. Alright, for this look, I'm just going to focus on color, which is why I've already done my base and my brows. The other thing that I've done as well is I've concealed my lids and I've used Tarte Cosmetics Shape Tape Concealer in the shade Light Medium. Now this concealer is actually like 2 or 3 shades lighter than what I should normally be using. But the reason why I used Light Medium shade is because I just want to brighten my eyelids so the color really pops on my skin. Also, I like Shape Tape because it has a bit of like a tacky consistency to it. It's a little bit thicker, a little bit more moussey, and so I find that the color clings to the concealer really well and you don't get as much product fallout, which is great. So I highly recommend starting with a tacky base before you start applying your bright colors, and I think there's other ones that people use. I know the P. Louise Academy have some really good tacky bases as well. I've also got the P. Louise white base, which is literally just a straight white base that you can put on your lids to make the colors super bright. For this video, I'm not going to do that. I'll save that for another video and show you guys how to use that. But I've just got concealer on my lids at the moment. I don't think I've ever done a rainbow tutorial, which is crazy because it's like my favorite type of look to create because I get to just dabble with all of the colors. But what I'm aiming to achieve today is something like this. I'm not sure you can see it, but I'll pop the actual picture here. This is a face chart by an artist called By Sully. She's very talented and she creates beautiful face charts. I've actually done something quite similar before in the past with pastel colors. So I do want to emulate this, but with more like punchy rainbow colors rather than just pastel. Alright, to kick off, I'm going to start with the Morphe James Charles palette, and I'm going to start around this area here using the reds and oranges. I'm going to go for this blood orange color right here. And we're just going to start by tucking that color underneath the brow bone and just running it along the crease. I always start in the outer corner in the crease. That's where I always put my first bit of color because I feel like it's just an easy place to begin, because you can easily use that brow bone as guidance and then you don't create too much of a mess too quickly. So when I'm starting off with color, I'm not really focusing on getting it super bright. I just want it to blend in nicely into my skin. So that's why I'm using very light strokes, just sort of running it back and forth. And then I can just take my blending brush, which is the Weaver's Luxe Eye Blender 225. It's so good, and I can just soften the edges, make it look really seamless. Because we can always build. Building is easy, but getting that nice blend is priority for me. I'm going to go in with this bright red color here, and I'm going to add that just next to that blood orange. See how the red has made its way all the way out here? I haven't actually applied any color there, but I've just been using the blending brush to pull it out further and soften that blend. And then to intensify that color again, I'm just packing it onto the lid. That patting motion really helps to transfer the color from the brush to your skin without diluting anything. I'm going to move on to orange and start moving into the inner corner. I'm going to use this nice tangerine orange color. I'm going to apply that using the same brush because I'm lazy, right next to that red. Again, just really softly applying it, and we can build that later. And I'm taking that orange all the way up to the brow bone there. So I like overlapping the colors as well because in the blend it looks that much more seamless. And then softening that with my blending brush. See how when you start pushing that color in, it really pops. I think that's just like my one major tip when it comes to bright colors. Soften it first, blend it out, and get that really nice soft faded blend, and then pack on the colors. Because if you start packing on the colors too quick, then it doesn't look as seamless and soft. Next is yellow, and that's going to go right in the inner corner. And for that, we're going to change our brush and use something a lot smaller. This is Zoeva's Petite Eye Blender 223. I'm going to go in and use the yellow from the James Charles Morphe palette. The plan is to pack this on heavy, so I'm dipping in, but then just sort of tapping off that extra product. And then again, just sort of buffing that in to begin with, and we can pack on in a sec. So we're going to dab it just in the inner corner, and we're going to bring it around into that little divot underneath your tear duct.
Now
know, there's a part of me that really wants to use like a neon yellow just to make it even brighter, but we'll get there eventually. I always use neon, like it's my default. I feel like the reason why I love neon so much is because it just shows up on brown skin and it looks so good. Just taking my blender and just very gently softening everything. I just need that yellow and orange to overlap a little bit more in the inner corner. I'm going to take an even smaller brush. This is the smudge brush from Marc Jacobs Beauty. What I'm going to do is with that brush just add a little bit more yellow right underneath my eyebrow, like just underneath it. We're done with yellow for now. I'm going to jump into pink. I've got this other brush I want to use, which is another Zoeva brush from the Opulence collection 227. And we're going to take this hot bright pink from James Charles and just dab that on the very outer corner of our eye. We're slowly transitioning to the under eye here, so I'm taking it very lightly under my eye like that. And then with the softest strokes ever, I'm pulling that color out a little bit. And by the way, with rainbow looks like this, because we're overlapping colors, we never just do one shade and then abandon it and move on to the next. It's a constant reapplication of colors to keep them nice and vibrant. So what's happening here is that the pink is overlapping the red and we're losing the red. So after I'm done with this, I'm gonna have to go back in and add a little bit more red, which is fine. Man, I love this brush from Fenty so much. It's their blender because it has a nice fluffy head and it really helps to soften colors as well. So we're gonna go in and just give that a whirl. Going back in with a bit of red because it disappeared. Now I absolutely love this palette from Huda Beauty. It's the Amethyst Obsessions palette. It just has this very beautiful pearlescent pink color. We're gonna dip into a little bit of that to help transition from pink to purple. You can also see this shade right here has been destroyed from the James Charles palette because again, it's a very nice metallic-y purple color that has that perfect shimmer to it. So we're gonna add that in as well. I'm gonna use the same brush and we're simply just gonna build upon what we've already created here. Like that is magical. It's so pretty. All right, I'm pausing for a second before things get too hectic under the eye because I want to add in a little bit of white eyeliner to my waterline. And for that, I'm going to use my Kat Von D Cake pencil. I love this white creamy pencil because it's so intense and it actually shows up in your waterline, so it's perfect. Now another delicious color from the James Charles palette is this periwinkle bluey purpley vibe right here. And we're going to add that super close to the waterline and blend that out with that nice iridescent purple. Going back in with that iridescent purple shade, just adding a little bit more of that because it's so pretty. Again, light strokes blending into the skin very softly. I'm gonna momentarily close up James Charles. I'm gonna have a play with the Juvia's Masquerade palette. Let's go in with the Dahlia, which is a really nice royal blue metallic shade. We're gonna buff that into the skin like we've been doing with all the other colors. I really just went in way too quickly with too much blue. I'm just taking this nice fluffy brush and softening everything. Honestly, when in doubt, when you make a mistake, just blend it out. That's it. I'm going to pause on that darker blue because it's a little bit too intense in my liking. And I'm going to go in with Zola, which is a little bit more turquoise, a little bit lighter. And we're going to buff that into the skin instead. Now it's 110% completely fine to make a mess because that's what I've done. So I'm just going to clean it up a little bit with a bit of foundation and just buff that into my skin to make it look a little bit less intense. The last major shade we want to add in is green, my favorite. And I want to use this turquoisey green from the Zulu Juvia's Place palette and see what that looks like. Another thing is, if you want to give the rainbow a little bit more gradient to it, then I recommend using different shades of a certain color. For example, I've gone in with a nice minty green in the very inner corner just to give a nice gradient from yellow to green. And for that, I use this palette here, which is perfect for pastels and lighter shades. It's called Sykes Box and it has all those really nice soft pastel-y shades for when you want to soften a look. I also said that I wanted to lighten the yellow, so I'm going to go in with this shade here called Sprite. It's a lot more of like a lemony soft yellow. So we're going going to take my NARS Orgasm blush, my absolute favorite, and I'm going to run that along the jawline and sort of blend that in with the rest of the colors. What I actually want to do now is actually go in and just touch up all the colors, make them more vibrant because they have been sort of diluted by other shadows being popped on top. So we want to make sure that each color is showing and popping and blended and looks amazing. I feel like I finally arrived at a good place and I'm quite happy with the blend and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and add some lashes. And to finally complete this look, I'm going to add a little bit of gloss. So I've got Frank Body's Cherry Lip Tint, which gives you a nice rosy tint to your lips. And I've got this really nice gloss from Zoeva Cosmetics. It's called Spread Your Wings and it has a really, really nice gold shine to it. So we're done for the most part, but if you want to go one step further, you can add a little white twinkle, which is what I love to do to my colorful look. So I'm going to use my NYX Cosmetics white liner, but I'm not going to use the brush from it because it's quite thick and it gets a bit gluggy. I'm actually going to use a separate brush, and this is a nail brush, so it's super fine, and that way I can create really, really small little twinkles. To create the shape, all you have to do is draw a cross, a really, really skinny cross if you can, and then you just fill in the corners of the cross and give it like a bit of a curve, and that creates a little twinkle effect. And I'm also going to add tiny little dots as well. And that is pretty much it, you guys. I love colorful looks like this because everything is super soft and blushed out and blended, and it's perfect for Pride Month. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and you learned something today. Let me know if you guys want to see more colorful looks. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.